I was about to turn 6 when the Expos first came to Montreal in 1969, and I remember at a Rusty Staub poster up in my bedroom. I'd see it every night before I went to bed. I'd look at it in the morning. At night I'd listen to Expo games on the radio. My birthday I'd go to the game every year, and if the Expos were at home, and hope and pray that Rusty would hit one over the right field fence into the swimming pool at Jerry Park. We had that bright red hair, and it was the perfect fitting nickname for him in Montreal. It worked in English, it worked in French, and it was a bilingual name. And Rusty Staub was only here for 3 years, but he also became bilingual. I spoke with him 6 or 7 years ago when he was inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, and he told me that he felt guilty when he first came here, when a young French kid would come up to him with stars in his eyes, and he couldn't speak to the kid in his own language. So after the first season, he took about 25 French lessons, and he became conversational in French. He could hold a conversation. He said he felt he owed it to the fans of Montreal and to the media of Montreal to learn how to speak their language. So in the short time he was in here, he embraced everything about Montreal, the culture, the language. People in Montreal loved Rusty Staub for what he did on and off the field, the way he embraced the city, just the way PK Subban did. So if you're a young Canadiens fan and you cried the day PK Subban was traded, or you felt very sad, then you'll understand how I felt, and a whole bunch of other Montrealers around my age when they were young felt the day that Rusty Staub was traded. On the bright side, if there is a bright side, that the Expos actually made a pretty good trade for that. They got Mike Jorgensen, a first baseman, Kenny Singleton, an outfielder, and Tim Foley, a shortstop. They all became regular players for the Expos, but none of them had the appeal to fans that Rusty Staub did. If you're in your late 50s or 60s, you'll remember him as a young boy, falling in love with him as maybe your first sports hero. If you're older than that, you probably just appreciated him as the man and the player, and remember the good old days at Jerry Park with the dancer and the peanut guy who would fire you a bag of peanuts from 4 or 5 sections over. He was part of what was a fun atmosphere during a fun period of time for the city of Montreal. When I interviewed Rusty Staub 7 years ago, just before his induction into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, I asked him, I said, "What message would you have, Rusty, for baseball fans in Montreal?" Here's what he said to me. "Just tell them I thank them for their love and caring during the time I was there. The way they treated me was spectacular, and I have a special spot in my heart that will never leave because of those fans in Montreal." Rest in peace, Rusty.